Yeah, man. Anyways, diving in. We're back for another episode of PIC. We're here with the wonderful Micheal Newton, man.
Thank you for having
me. EP and producer, super dope guy all around, innit? So gas to have him on the pod.
Come on, obviously, you get me. You know the vibe.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
And obviously, you're here with the boss himself, Deej, as well. You get me? Regular.
Yes. There.
Yeah, bro. Kind of just wanted to chat about you, how you got into the industry, what you do, and how you do it. Because what you do is not easy. Yeah, man, obviously you came in as a producer, so maybe we just leave with that, because obviously now, you know, you almost like 3 roles, producer, EP, and head of music. So we'll dive into all of them. But obviously we'll start with producing, bro. Like, what was your kind of like pathway into production, bro?
My pathway into production was from uni. My boy looked at me. I think I first AD'd something, but I essentially produced the whole short, like, because the producer wasn't up to scratch. And during, like, when we had to do documentaries, my boy, who's a producer at the time, looked at me and said, "Oh, I think you'd be a sick producer." I remember, like, every time I told him, I laughed tears. I actually laughed. I was like, me, a producer? No way. I can't do that. So he's like, "Oh, if you'll jump on the project, you'll do whatever role and you'll help me produce it." So the first thing I ever produced was a documentary. We flew over to Ireland. And that went really good and I enjoyed it. Then my final year, someone approached me and was like, "Can you produce my short film?" And I was like, "All right, okay, cool." So it took me like 2 to 3 years to kind of have the confidence to realize I could produce. And then graduated uni, got a job at my uni as a production coordinator. And that's where I learned my like email etiquette and like practice more like because I had to organize all the year groups shows and all of that. So I got to practice like more organizational skills. Then I got made redundant and I was running on and off at the side. So I decided I was going to go full time into the industry. Didn't know what that meant. So started off as a runner. Ran for like 3 months relentlessly. Like sometimes I was working every day. Yeah, every day for 7.
On what shoots?
Mostly promos. I started off on like Sum 41. Did like Ed Sheeran at Abbey Wood Studio. But yeah, it was just all running stuff. But running was good because one, my course was really practical, so obviously I knew certain things, but being a runner helped me to learn the lingo really quickly. Like when someone said 10-1, I was like,
yeah.
Like 10-1.
Yeah, 10-1, yeah. And then they're like, you don't have to say 10-2. I was like, you know, sticks, sharps, all of these little lingo. Like even now, sometimes when I'm mentoring people and I'm saying, "Oh, have you done the RA or the CS?" And they're like, "What's the RA?" I'm like, "Risk assessment." They're like, "CS." I'm like, "Cool shit." Or EOP when you see that in the like end of play. So anyway,
I don't know about RA and CS, you know. I haven't heard that abbreviation.
I abbreviate those. I cannot. If I'm typing to you, I can.
Oh yeah, I know that.
To type up cool sheet, CS, RA. So yeah, started to run. Did that for like I did it for about a total of 8 months. But around the 4th month mark, I wanted to I was seeing other people PA and PM and produce, and just thought to myself, I can do this, but I'm just not getting opportunity. Got some in-house experience I worked at 2 different production companies for work experience, just travel and food. And it was some of the best experience. Did 2 weeks at one, 2 weeks at the other. And it was sick. But then, I just wanted the experience. And then I think things changed when I went on a shoot for Kareem. Is how I met Kareem and Ola for the first time. Digged that an H8 Mile.
Cold.
And it's the first time. Yeah, cold.
Yeah, shit. Very cold shit.
Yeah. It's the first time I saw the black side of the industry.
Yeah. Completely different.
Completely different. I walked on site and I was like, and then Kareem walked in and like the second that brought me on was like, "Oh yeah, that's the producer." And I looked over like, "Producer's black."
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah," and I was like, and he's young. He's like, "Yeah." I was like. Walked up to him, "You're the producer?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Bro."
Well done, like, congrats.
Huh?
Yeah,
I
was running on
Honourable
this.
shout out to Kareem and all
that
as well.
Yeah. So then, chopped up with Kareem. At the end, it turned out that he knew Dijon. And he told me, "Oh, reach out to D. Like, D's got a production company. D would love to get people to produce." So I said, "Okay, cool." I've known D since college.
What year is this in, by the way? Just so I can have some sort of
2018, 2019, around those times.
These times getting a popping still.
Yeah.
Oh my bad.
Yeah.
No. Because I just remember it because I was going through the files. I just remember 2018, 2019 popping like a lot of shoots.
Yeah.
Scale was there, especially for that time, anyways. Yeah.
So then I did another shoot where I was a runner. It was. I forgot the artist. I mean, I'll have to rack my brain, but I can't do that too long. So, but then I met Andre.
Reed,
yeah. And he was dating at the time, and then I drove him back because he was in Southeast, and I was like, "Yo, yeah, I'll drive you back." Me and him end up chopping up. He knew Deej.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yo,
You man making me sound like I'm
bro,
popular.
I'm not gonna lie. Just as a side note, bro. Everyone knows the genre.
Yeah.
Every black person I've met in this industry, whether it's on promo, social content, even commercials, bro. I'm like, yeah, I do that work with Diamond Clay. They're like, oh, Deej company. Yeah. It'd be like back in 2018, Deej was doing. He got me on my first shoots. I'm talking about ADs, producers, everyone.
But
bro.
this is the thing. Deej is like the good silver lining thread in the industry. Like everything that connects to you is good and positive. You might not
100.
see it and feel it, but it is like every man.
No, it's love. You know what I'm saying?
Like
I hear that.
you like. We big me up, yeah, but I wouldn't. I was sitting here. I said like I needed an opportunity. The person that everyone was like, oh, Mike's sick, but everyone only gave me running opportunities because I was a good runner.
Yeah.
Until I had to start saying no to running. I was only doing APA running jobs, so commercials, and then I started to PA and PM. And with Deej, I was producing like the lower budgets, like the 1Ks, the 3Ks, and then I remember we did Cali Claire, and that was my first actual PM job. And
yeah.
sick. I still have those photos on my phone, bro.
Yeah, like it was a dope shoot. Like it felt like a commercial.
Yeah, it did.
Who directed that?
B2.
Dope. Very dope.
And it was sick. So that was my first official credit. And then after that, it kind of like, then I got there was this guy that was head of music of another production company, and he was almost mentoring me. And he left and went Brazil for like a year and came back and said he's got a job that he wants to direct for Sean D, Vibes Cartel, featuring Digger D, Unknown T, and I was like, yeah, cool, gotcha. I was like, cool, for the culture, pay for that. So originally I put myself a fee, but as the job started to move on, I just put my fee in because like for me, I always came up with this like mentality of what I say to myself. There's opportunities and opportunities. So like, cool. If I'm doing this for the money, I might screw the whole job up because I don't have enough money. But if I invest in this, so even now when I work, I don't really work for money. I work for my time. So investing my time in this. So that job, I produced the London side, and they already had people producing the Jamaican side.
So did you have a rate at all? Did you cut your whole rate out?
Yeah, I cut my whole rate out.
I want this to be on the record, didn't it? I'm looking into the camera for this one directly. Yeah, full promos. Sometimes when I'm asking you for the rate and that. It's not a mad rate because I'm working with nothing. Their promos I've done, no rate.
No rate.
We should all look into the camera and
no rate.
And you know who you are. You know
no
who I'm
rate.
speaking to.
I am not even lying to you. I'm not trying to finesse you. I've got no money.
A man's thinking, no rate, mate. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Bro,
you know what I mean? I ain't got the capacity, bro. So that one was sick. I learned a lot from that one. Like even my post game wasn't strong in that. The post. We finished the job, but like that would be my criticism. And then after that, my friend Amy, who's an editor, put me in contact with my really good friend now, Nicolee Tizen, and she reached out to me. This was just about when lockdown just kind of happened, and we had like this 1.6K music video to produce called Birds. It was for an electronic group. Honestly, I look back at that job. I got a full camera team. I got runners. And this is like 1.6. I got a steady cam. It was crazy.
Mad.
Yeah, it was crazy, bro.
My boy was doing the mad thing.
Yeah,
you can't do 1.6 for steady cam in
bro.
2023.
It was crazy.
That's your whole rate. That's your whole budget.
But again, that one I didn't have a rate on, and you know, even the director, like, and this goes out to directors, like sometimes, you know. If you really want something, you have to show it. And even the director, she put in a fee, not even her fee. She just put more money into the project to push it. And we got a colorist as well. So yeah, we did that job. That job came out really great. And this was like just Cali here, Sean D, Gotcha, and then Palindrome Birds, and that all happened. And then shortly after that, I was still running and my friend Ersan, who's big up to Ersan, that always helped me, he kept telling me that this company low key was like they had their eye on me, but I was like really blasé about it, like, oh yeah, cool. So I did a couple jobs for low key, and then one day they called me up out of the blue, asked me if I could PM a job quickly for them, find something for them, smashed it, made them super happy, and then. I'm so for surfing at this point. I'm like the days I'm not working, I'm doing admin. I'm updating my CV. I'm sending out emails. I'm calling around. I'm just trying to be active. So in my inbox, I saw a job role to be a PA at Loki. Did the interview, was really nice. So then I got a job at Loki, and joined them as a PA. And then shortly after joining them, it was really good. Then they promotion after promotion. I went from PA to junior producer by the time I left there. But we did loads of sick jobs. We did Fredo featuring Dave, Money
Big
Talks.
video.
Yeah.
Shout out Adam as well.
I met Adam. Adam was one. Yeah, love Adam. Adam did Clash again, and then I also produced my first official industry short film, Silent World.
Amazing.
Big one as well. Won an award.
Won loads of awards. Done really good. Sick. Went to Sundance. Didn't win, but got nominated at Sundance. Was on BBC iPlayer for a whole year. That one's like going back to uni roots, because I fundamentally learned how to produce narrative. Yeah. And obviously when I came in the industry, I landed in music videos. Yeah. But I'm grateful because music videos is the place where I got to practice. And that quick turnover, you get to learn to negotiate and do sales, and like even though we talk about that 1.6, I'll say like that was all me just selling. I was reaching out to the people and just like, I've tried to dig up some of these emails. The emails I sent crew, oh my God. There were some passionate emails like, bro, I promise you. And I mean, I've stuck true to the promise, because the same people that worked with me then, I've brought them back jobs and bigger jobs. And as I've grown, I've always done that. Like, that's and then at Loki for a while, for a year and a half, and then I decided to leave. And as I was leaving, Great Crow approached me to be head of music, and this was what year we're in? 2023. This was 2021 December, going into 2022. So I started a Great Coat last year January as head of music. And yes, it's been a year and 4 months.
And even that, I ain't gonna lie, again, bro.
Smashed it, bro.
Come on, man.
Smashed it. You actually smashed it.
And I think, obviously, one key thing is that, okay, cool, people be thinking opportunities and luck and whatever. It always sounds nicer when someone's telling a story. You always never really, you don't tell them about the moments where you're just like, oh, bro, I thought to just leave, or this, or, I don't know if this industry's for me, or, you know what I mean? But, like, I think it's key to say, like, it's about consistency, and Michael is definitely, if I'm going to say anyone, is proof that if you work hard, it can literally happen. Because, like, again, it's like coming from, the bottom and going all the way to the top. Sometimes that takes people like 5 to 10 years. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But I think it's just depending on how, and this is me saying amen too many times, but I think it's down to the work ethic, the patience, and also just being a good character. So I
appreciate it. All those things, bro. You definitely are all those things.
Yeah, I think persistency and perseveration is like key in our industry to to survive, because you hear a lot of no's. And like people always tell you what you can't and can do, but like man has a family to feed, bro. I can't listen to people's thoughts. So like I said, when I was a runner and I was looking at the people ahead of me, I wasn't like, part of it was not arrogant. Part of it was like I didn't know how much there was to learn. Like, when we did the APA course, that blew open the post world for me, and I understood that a bit more. But during the time as a runner, I looked at certain things and went, I can still do a better job than some of these PAs and PMs I was doing. But if I get the opportunity, I guarantee you, I can learn, and I can learn so quick. Like, I will give everything. I remember emailing production companies like, yo, I will come and do your course sheet. They're like, we can't pay you. I don't care. I don't want to be paid. Let me come and learn. That's all I wanted to do. So now that's what I do. I just give people opportunities, man. That's all it is 100%. About.
And the same way how you like bigged me up at the beginning is the same way now. It's like you look at all the people that you've helped and stuff, and they're all doing mad things. Like some of them have just literally gone from PA and maybe a couple PM jobs and now straight producing, and they're killing it, literally.
Yeah, smashing it.
And you know what? It's a great way to measure success by, it's that quote by like Nipsey about, the idea of the way you measure how well you've done in life is not how much money you've made, but how many lives you've touched and been able to help. And that's like, yeah, man, it's sick to see, 100%.
Facts.
Yeah, man.
No, that's facts. That's real shit.
Come on, that's it. We should make a little special thing.
Yeah.
Cool. So I want to dive into creative producing, because not everyone knows what that is. Also, certain jobs do not require you to be a creative producer. Off the record, I was talking about tech. In my opinion, if you're doing them tech jobs or that corporate jobs, that's not a creative thing to me.
No, that's just bread.
That's a bread thing.
That's just bread.
And
Word.
I think in promos in particular, yeah, because it's not like commercials, there's a lot of like layers of approval on that. Promos a bit more free flow, which is a good thing. Can you kind of talk about what it is to be a creative producer and what it is to be like just like a line producer?
Yeah, like logistics versus creative. So I think actually it was, so even when I met you, I still wasn't 100% confident in myself as a producer. I still didn't think I could produce, but I didn't accept myself as a producer, because a long time in my brain I felt like if I said I was a producer, I would kill my creative side. I would just be like, okay, cool, you're a producer, you're just logistics wise. But then I remember having a conversation with you and you was like, no, you can still be creative. There's still creative aspects about it. And I think when I look at our journey from college and even my uni course, you as a producer, you're more so creative when if you're doing a documentary, you have to be creative. If you're doing narrative, you have to be creative, and promo, you have to be creative. So what a creative producer is someone that understands let me talk about what a logistical producer first is. A logistical producer is someone that can take the story, the narrative, the treatment, and see what they need straight away. What are the locations? What are the crew? What are the cast? Do we need costume? They can just break it down objectively, like straight away. There's no
tangible things to be done, bought, hired.
And can say, what the cost will be straight away. That is logistical producing. If a problem arrives, they can either say yes or no, sort it with either money, or they can't. That's it. There's no problem solving in it. The problem solving is saying you can't do it or you can do it. Or someone giving an alternative option. Now, a creative producer is someone that does all of that, plus if a problem comes up, instead of saying no or they don't have the money to try it, there's creative solutions. Maybe they come up with a reference that because directors work off reference, DOPs work off reference, so a producer might say, oh, do you know, like in this film they did that kind of shot, maybe we can do that, or oh, can't we cheat it by getting this piece of equipment a cheaper way, or couldn't we like, you just start getting in your creative bag just like the other team. You don't just logistically stand there, you start creatively inputting. Like in a narrative film, you read the script, like, you know, even in the short film that we had, I remember the way the character died at the end, I didn't like it. It was very, what's the word I'm looking for? It was, you know, when something's just like...
Cliche?
Not cliche, like, you know how people expect black boys to be a certain way?
Stereotypical.
That's the word I'm looking for. It was a stereotypical way. So I spoke to the director and we changed it. And it's like you have those kind of inputs where, like, you can creatively change a story, or if you understand and you're very passionate about it, you can also step in with the director. Like, this is what my directors like about me as an EP at Great Coat. Like, when they give me a treatment, I don't go, oh, fantastic, and pass on. Sit down, go blind by blind, pages, write down my notes. Like, why have we done this? Shouldn't we do this? Or this is weak. Like, you're selling yourself short here. Do something else better. Or actually, like, this is what's making the idea go over budget. But you can keep it in, and we can try an alternative and sell it like this. Like, so it's all these creative options. You're not just like, I hope this all makes sense. You're not just...
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, you're not just logistically saying, yes, you're not a machine. You've got a creative mind. And like, it can't, I think it comes from the fact that some producers like myself are either writers, such as yourself, or we want to be directors. So that hat is on. It's just that we also have the ability to think logistically.
Or even just being able to be tapped into the creative aspect of, you know what I mean? Whereas like logistical, those ones have more come from like the PM, you know, coordinator, etc., where they're just like, okay, cool, we need this.
I think it's just like a big general overall point, because like, for me, the way I see it, maybe there's a film on, I don't know, it's a film on Asian women, yeah? I can produce a film on Asian women, a short film on Asian women. Am I the best placed producer to do that necessarily with that narrative? Maybe not. And I think it kind of just goes into, if you're going to be a creative producer and you want to do a good job on it, you got to have, you know, some sort of feeling towards the job. It can't just be a job to you, or I think you'll struggle to, you know,
tap
be
in.
creative.
Yeah,
you can line produce that 100%. But I feel like any jobs I've been a creative producer on, I've cared about the narrative and I've basically pushed it because it's something that I care about.
Yeah, I've learned.
Otherwise, you're just gonna be like, I ain't gonna lie, can I just sort out the cool sheet and the rest of it? Do you know what I'm saying? Literally.
I've learned anything is producible. That's the thing as when you're producing early doors, you have to learn that if someone gives you something, it most likely is producible. It's just about is it achievable and is it worth your time? And again, that's what you said is if you're not passionate about it, then it just becomes something you're producing. I've been as a producer where there's jobs that I've just churned out. Like I know that I've churned them out. And people are like, right, they're sick, and I'm like, Like,
yeah. Man said, I'm seeing them.
When they're saying it's sick, you don't know what went on behind the scenes to get that job.
Yeah.
No clue.
Of course, but there's jobs where like the George and little psych one, Graham versus Jiro. That was like me and the director and the VFX person, we sat down for weeks talking about it. And like, you know, even when we spoke to the DOP, the DOP was like to me, we can shoot all on crane. And I was like, you sure? Like, I was like questioning like, nah, like you sure you don't want to steady, we can do this. Like, no, we can get everything on crane. Spoke to the director was like, yeah, I trust the DOP if he wants. I was like, all right, cool. And it came out sick. So like, and that one I was passionate about, you know, I threw everything at. Even the director was like, right, I don't know how Michael got half the stuff or how he's done this, but it's like, those are the jobs when you're passionate about, you will make things happen. And, you know,
find creative solutions with how they maybe, okay, cool, maybe we use the same cast. You know what I mean? And they can just get changed, but then you can also, maybe this could be that person.
I did that the other day with the job on Thursday. Like, there's scenes where the cast is ballied up. And there's scenes where some of them, they're in the shadows. So we only had like a cast of 6. And we've reused all of them.
I've been done that.
You stretch. Like, what, can you stay back?
Yeah, bro.
Are you able to chill for another hour? We've got another shot. Nah, don't worry, face not gonna be seen. Maybe a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
But can you just turn your back a little bit?
Word. And they got trains to catch and this and that.
Car, you have to schedule the car because you can't have the car there all day because you can't afford it.
Trust me.
Yeah, the car needs to come at this time so we can. Oh, like if striking deals with some special crew members. Like, I'm only gonna need you for a 6-hour day because that's what I can afford.
Like come when we need you half an hour before, and you leave literally as we wrap. Get the most.
Get the most. So like, and I don't know if that's still logistical producing. But like, I think creative producing is not a thing where you say I'm gonna be a creative producer. I think as a producer, it's an extra skill you can develop. Like, there's some producers that are super creative but atrocious with budgets, believe it or not. And there's some producers that are like, I know producers, I can make stone bleed blood, but these men can make juice out of stone. These men can actually like push budgets out of unbelievable rates. And I'm like, how did you do that? But yeah, a good producer affects the quality on screen, I think. I say to directors all the time, like, they're your right hand. Like, the same way your PM's your right hand, the director's right hand is, and the DOP's their left, whichever you want to look at it.
I agree. I like that a lot. I think that the general idea that I was just trying to get across is just like, I think everyone's skills in producing are different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
if all 3 of us produce here, obviously at different levels, but you could give us all one job, and if all of us produced it separately, the job will come out different. Budgets
will look different. Like I actually explained that to an artist the other day because he's asking about overages, and I was like, bro, if you want to audit, I can give you an audit. I was like, because it's like, I'm gonna compare this to past jobs. I'm like, that doesn't really make sense because you can give 2 producers the same budget. One might come over, one might come under, or the third one might break even. Like, you don't know. Like, everyone's working out deals and favors their own way,
depending on the relationships they have with the crew as well. 100%.
Or if they even want to use their relationships for this job.
That's the thing no one talks about. Producing's about relationships. Like, it's a lot about relationships. Like, your name is your value. The quality of work, obviously, but people sign on by names sometimes. So yeah, and that's important as well. I think not just as a producer, but knowing your value and where you sit in the industry. Yeah, because I don't know if me and you was having a conversation, but talking about humility and humbleness and how it can be a detriment sometimes.
Oh yeah, 100%. That was us.
So yeah, like it's knowing when to be humble, but knowing your value. And I'm teaching my directors that as well. Like, you know, you're a brand. The same way you give brands and artists all of this value and you treat them bigger than your worth. Remember, they're coming to you because you're a brand. Like, it's your career.
Someone click for me. You can click at home. Another clicker, you know what I'm saying?
It sounds like you're saying
No, literally.
Calm.
you click some whispering. Bro.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I might have to say some words at the same time.
Yeah, Fabi, well, that's kind of my next thing I want to dive into now. Obviously, being the EP, what are the skills that an EP has that a producer doesn't have? Is there any like crossover there, or is it two completely different jobs?
Do you want to answer this first? Because you was an EP prior to me becoming an EP.
An EP. I mean, it's interesting. I feel like there's all different types of EPs. Like when I've done producing for other companies as well, I've understood that like some people don't come from a production background, which I'm in my head thinking that don't make no sense. But they've been the person that has driven the sale, that knows the client well, and etc. And they just want to have they want to have, every time I go I'm thinking, yo, the edit, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, some EPs just want to be oversee everything to make sure that from the initial conversation when they said they could do the job to the final thing, it's smooth as much as they control. Whereas me as EP, I'm pretty much like thinking of it as a producer and just being the producer's kind of right-hand man to be able to be like, okay, cool, this is what you can do, or this is a solution you can do, or maybe the process and workflow of how I would do it. I think it's different because obviously I run Diamond Clear, so it's like I'm thinking about it from an accounts perspective, from all these different things, and then when I come to hand a project to a producer, I've already kind of done a bit of the work for them, and I'm like saying how I would prefer the company to do the job. But as a sole EP, I guess it's just you're there to kind of be an emergency person if something's to go wrong on the production, that they can turn to you and say, this is the problem, I need help, I've tried this solution, it's not working, what do you think?
Yeah. 9 times out of 10, if you are needed on set, something's gone wrong.
Yeah. And it's mad because it's like, on our jobs, Dre and I always go. Like, we still go and all, like, we go and we stay there the majority of the day.
I think it's so important though, like, yeah, I'm glad he answered first, because like I remember when I was joining Great Coat, one of my friends told me like, you're going to benefit so much that you come from a production background, because a lot of EPs don't come from production, and it took me a while to understand. And even I met an EP the other day and we was talking and I was like, oh yeah, you produce, like, they're like, that's sick that you can do that. And I'm like, oh yeah.
It's like where are you coming from, bro? Where are you coming from? Like,
they're coming from sales or they're a commissioner prior, like, so and it's like, producers producing the EP, you're managing the clients, you're managing the creative, which is a director, you're managing the production company's reputation and money and accounts, you're managing the client's reputation and their quality and satisfaction of the job. So it's a lot of things you're managing, and you're managing the producer and making sure they're happy and they have everything available, and you're there to support them. That's 5 things I've listed. And you know, on the day, there's a lot. As a producer, everyone's coming to you. As an EP, everyone's coming to you.
Yeah. So you got a client coming to you, then you got a runner coming to you.
You got the directors, like,
you got talent coming in, you're just like, oh, I see the talent, and then he's busy, so let me go and service this. Literally, I feel like the customer service role is very, very similar.
So 100%. It's a lot. So I have worked with producers that are more experienced than me, and you know, but we've smashed it. Like, I've learnt from them, they've learnt from me. So it's always a growing aspect. I think when I'm as an EP, I've just learnt this, and when I'm working people, there's no ego here. There's no hierarchy. The only time there needs to be a hierarchy is if things are getting out of line and I need to bring that structure in. But naturally, there's no, like, sometimes I'm walking around on set and people don't even know I'm the EP until they ask me. And like,
I prefer to, and this is for everyone that always goes, oh, why don't you talk your ish and all this stuff. I prefer to not Because I don't like when people treat me any differently.
Same.
Because I want to see, are you going to treat me different to how the runner is?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm more likely to go and talk to the runners and be like, oh, da 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 da. And they're like, oh, so what's your role here? And they're like, EP. And they're like, oh, and it's just like, no, chill. Like, I don't actually want that type of...
Reed does that a lot, man.
I don't...
He's super blendy on set. You're not even...
do you know what I mean? Because it's like, I think this is the difference as well when you know you're on a good set. It's like everybody's just working and everyone's like cool. Like there's no like... there's no hierarchy. And I think that's what makes a good team, when there's no ego involved, but you're there to service everybody to make sure it's a good set.
Don't you think that comes with understanding though? Because I feel like when I first started in this running thing, obviously now kind of more PA and producing, but still running, I'll still run, but when man are asking me to get coffees, I'm like, why are you asking me to get a coffee? Or you're asking me to do something. Now where the knowledge comes and the experience comes, I understand that your job not necessarily is more important than mine, but your job requires a certain level of focus. You still need to drink, you still need to eat, you might not need to leave your station, for example.
So can I thought about this the other day, because I had someone on set make a joke saying, you know, if they walk, the whole set crumble. And I thought to myself, I say the same thing. And you said all of us are main characters in our own world. On a set, every crew member can say the same thing, like how important they are. And it's true, like filmmaking is a efficient machine. You take out one piece of the puzzle and that machine won't operate properly. So, you know, I hear it, but like, you know, for me, the most important people on set are the runners. They're the foundation of the whole thing. Like, have you ever been on set with no runners? Who's doing all of the magic? It's long.
Sets where I'm like, we haven't got enough runners. Like, we should have, even on commercials, and I'm like that money I saved. It just wasn't worth it, bro. Like, myself doing bare things, and especially when you got one runner driver and just a normal runner. And that runner driver's out for 30, 40 minutes.
That's mad.
And you just got one, and you're like, no, I should have just got 4. I should have bust down. I should have bust down my set.
Runners, I'll be taking over runners for dumb reasons like catering. Because if you lose the number, you lose the rate and you lose the catering and you lose the transport costs. I only need one van instead of 2 vans, you know what I'm saying? But it ain't worth it, you're right.
For me...
I try. Sometimes I even overkill on the runners.
I don't even mind if they're standing up.
In the joint.
Sometimes, not on a promo. I wish I could have 5 runners on a promo.
They would be looking at you like, is this how you using the budget?
Bro, what?
But the thing is, they complain like, see, this there's this nature. Some people, like you said, oh, can you get me a coffee and stuff, which is just as important because let's say they're a focus puller and they need to have their eyes glued and stuff. Cool, but then you might have at one point runners just chilling on set and they're not really doing anything. You think they're just chatting, and someone look over to them like, oh, they're just messing about. But the moment I need them is, do you know what I'm saying? Because of course, you know, like sometimes it's like you got to service the client, the crew. You as a producer or whatever in production, some capacity need support, and it's like 2 people can't do all of the same things at the same time.
Yeah, but if your runners are chilling, that's fine, because that's their moment to go around and network and talk to crew and learn.
And that's why they're there more time.
I love running. I ain't gonna lie. When I was doing it, like it was an experience, and obviously the low pay and sometimes the difficulty of the task. It was definitely like catching me. You catch myself just, you know what I mean, like cussing in the back, like. What?
But sometimes on my way up, like lucky for me, I never had to do some mad task. But on my way up, I've seen runners have to do some mad task, and I'm like, God damn.
But the thing is, it's like when you look at other, you know, labourers, you like runners. You guys got to chill. You like are in some sort of nice environment with some sort of standards and that. There's other industries that are worse.
No, bro. I definitely got them mad tasks. But when I was able to pull them off, that producer or production staff always remembered me.
You know when they give you the pat on the back? Like,
yeah,
done
bro.
a good job.
I've had straight running roles become PA roles that I've needed for my CV because they've asked me a mad task, and I thought, you know, I'm just gonna try. I'm gonna give it a crack. Like I think one time some car broke down. I'm on the phone trying to pattern the car. I had to go Croydon on the train, and this is for a short low budget. And that producer's never forgot me. Whenever he sees me, he always says hello. Always wants to catch up with me.
I've had that with a commissioner. Like, it sounds so dumb, but what's patterned me as a runner as well is making banging tea, bro. What?
Bro?
What?
They don't know about the whipping.
Bro, leaving it to brew for like 2-3 minutes.
Yeah.
Tea bag of... Listen.
Sometimes you've even got to like, I keep it concentrated. So I concentrate it with the sugar and the coffee and that, and then I duplicate it. You know what I'm saying? Dilute it and that. But it's just like, sometimes people come out like, mate, that was a
Yeah. How do you want your tea to like milky? Just a dash of milk.
Yeah.
And he's like, you got it just to, like the way me and my mates.
That's a great, yeah. That's a great compliment, you know. It's a good compliment, bro.
Like, come on, bro. You know what I mean?
Yo. Me and DJ are back on the couch for our gems of the week.
Gems of the week. What's up? Looking forward to it, man. Come on.
Take it away, D.
No, let's you can't do that with your hand. I'm thinking I should have been trying.
Alright, cool. Alright, clap, ready, yeah?
Yeah.
Yo. Me and DJ are back for our gems of the week.
What's up? Yeah, man. I'd say my gem of the week has definitely been Fields. It was directed by Charlene Wango. Sorry if I butchered the name or anything like that, but yeah, absolutely sick. Like, I watched it on YouTube. It came out about 10 days ago on a platform called MYM, and yeah, no, definitely like a hard-hitting short film. I think the story is basically, not to spoil it, but it's about a mum having a premonition about her son and the environment he's in, and yeah, she puts in her effort to kind of save the day. So yeah, big shout out to Tony Long, who co-produced it, and everyone that worked on it. Go and check it out. What's yours?
Cool. So my gem of the week is a short called Keeping Time by Daryl Oluke. Apologies, I butchered the name, brother. The film's amazing. Me and DJ had the opportunity to go to some such event. They showed off 5 of their latest short films. All of them were super dope. Keeping Time is essentially about the environments that I needed to create great music. It's about a jazz band. It was a super dope film, super insightful, and based in LA, which was like one of my favorite places culturally. So it was an amazing watch, man. I do recommend all of you guys go and watch it. I don't know if it's out yet. But if it's not out, I'll let you know where you can find it, at what time and stuff. And if it is out, I'll put the link in the description below. Yeah, guys, I hope you're enjoying the episode. Peace. Since we're talking about runners and giving people opportunity, I want to chat about the group chat quickly, bro. Micheal has got the baddest group chat.
Go in.
Do you know what? If it's cool with you, I'm going to put it in the link to the description of this video, yeah?
It's full at the moment again.
Bro, it is the maddest group chat ever. Like, for me producing, yeah, especially when the budgets are small, I can go in there the night before a shoot asking for something. Like, let's say my first AC's pulled out. I'll be like, yeah, any first AC's about 10 messages.
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
The other day, I needed graphic designers, and graphic designers are in our industry, but set-based not really.
Yeah.
It's part of the world. About 4 graphic designers messaging me. It's like anything that I need in that group chat, even if I need jobs, you can go in there and be like, I'm free today, someone's going to hit you up, so...
Someone told me they got someone to come and move furniture in the yard and paint their walls.
Mad.
Yeah, bro. It's that time right now. Literally,
yeah.
I feel like the group chat you've made, and I think it's because the fact that you know how to treat people, and you've also been able to, in the initial people that came into it, those people were not like arrogant, humans that didn't know how, that everyone in there was just about giving opportunity and helping. And so it's a great place to literally, man. Well done again, literally on that 100%.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that's that one. Yeah, like I think that's important. Like I started off that chat with like I think no more than 30. It started off on Insta. That's why it's called Insta Network. I started on Insta. It got full on Insta. So then I moved it to WhatsApp. And I think I started off with like 32, 34 people, and all it was like the description: just share the love, share opportunities, be respectful, be nice. If you ask a question, it should be answered. And
how many people on it now?
1,050. Sorry.
Talk your things. Talk your things. Yeah.
It's full again. Like I get like now when it's full, I get at least 3 messages a day. People saying, "Can you add me? Can you add me?" And I'm like, I can't do anything.
It's full.
Yeah. WhatsApp. So when it was full. It was full when it hit. It was full when it hit 500, then it got full again when it upped it to 900, then it upped it to 1,050, and now it's full again.
Boy, no, 100%.
But it's just become its own thing, like that. Just like, look, I'm off today, and it's running.
Literally.
Doing the same thing.
No, it's sick.
But man, I think like that Nipsey thing you said, like for me, that group chat is, of course, I'd love if it could benefit me in one way, but I didn't make it to earn anything. It was just like it's funny enough, when I made it, I was going through, I go through this every few years, it looks like. But I was going through a stage where I was like, if I leave this industry, at least I leave it with an impact, and there's something that's flowing there anyway. And I hope that group chat, it just makes that, when we started off coming in the industry, it was very hard to get opportunities, but now I hope that people can get into that group chat and they don't need to worry about where work's coming next week. It's just bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
No, bro,
man.
I think you are earning. I just think maybe you can't see it. It's like I don't know. It's that phrase like the janitor can end up being the person that owns the building. Yeah, bro. There will probably be man in 5 years. I started off as a runner. Now they're
the same
whatever.
way you said like obviously about me. It's the same way people are gonna be like, oh, bro, you say your name and you're like, oh my days, my son, or this person, and literally. So it's like compound interest, but working in the background. Do you know what I mean?
Man, trust me, man will remember. It's the very obviously I know you in it, so me and you have a relationship. But if I didn't know you based on an Insta network alone, I'd be like, this guy's been doing me favors. And in this industry, anyone that can make my life easier. I appreciate them so much because, especially as a producer, more time everyone is making my life more difficult. So if you're making my life easier, bro,
it's true.
Facts.
Like I can call it maybe 2 years we did not have any group chats. Like lockdown, I feel like lockdown was like the birth of me being introduced to group chats. And I was like, oh my days. I remember the days of having to hustle the phone like I'm in like some sort of I don't know stock and shares, like having to call. Oh, you free? Are you free? Are you free? No. Do you know what I mean? Whereas it's like. It makes me feel old because it's like when I put information in and someone comes back instantly. I'm like, oh my God, getting messages directly to my phone. I'm like, you revolutionized the thing. So.
But look, now you've got even the Facebook groups I used to, because Facebook groups they're still great. But even like through my chat, I've now seen people put other groups, and I've now discovered some of the Facebook groups on WhatsApp, and I'm like, oh, rah, you man are here. All right, cool. And like you know, Ersan created that producer chat, which
dopest chat
great,
ever.
For producers,
like,
if you're senior or like you're proper in the production thing, that one's good.
But I see mad niche questions in there. Like
I seen Nathan
posting
that said from little to big. I mean, everybody's
even my fixer in that I work with in Europe was like. He's speaking about the group chat. I was like, you're in it? He's like, nah, I've got someone that's in there that feeds back information to me.
Bro, that group chat is different. The kind of questions, like, people put, I think, great question that I would have never thought about is someone cancelled on APA, but their kit was part of their rate. So would that be part of the cancellation fee?
Yeah, you pay whatever, so...
Trust. It's like those niche questions that you would like, do you know what I mean?
That's not in I don't think...
There's no rules.
There's nothing in there that says anything about that. So it's like, but there's even madder ones. You
know what I do now though, because I think at the same time that group chats allowed people, as newcomer production people, to be lazy and don't search. You can tell who hasn't searched for something first before they just come and ask. Or you can just go in the group chat, go in the search bar, search, and see what the history comes up.
100%.
Before, and or search like for me. It might be a pride thing, but I don't tend to ask too quickly. I tend to try draft. Look, sometimes I go in the group chat and I go in so late. Like the other day, I asked for costumes, and I realized I should have just came in the chat super early before I did, because like I've left it till the day before the shoot, and now I'm asking for these costumes. So sometimes it can be a detriment. But yeah, these WhatsApp chats are like they've definitely changed the game. But there's this together spirit with production now that wasn't there before.
That's a good point.
I remember just off what Michael was saying about don't ask people. I remember that's something you told me when I first started producing. It was like, bro, sometimes you ask me too many questions. You need to go do your own research, and after you just exhausted every option, then come chat to me.
Initiative is important, man.
No, 100%. It's key if a person hasn't got it. It's different if they haven't. Like you're giving them a task and maybe they're learning it for the first time, but in this industry, I feel like in any role, any capacity, you just want forward thinkers, people that are going to make your life easier, because that's what everyone's coming on board for. Do you know what I mean? The producers hiring the PM and the PA and all these things to make their life easier. So if like I've got to do that with the client.
Literally. Sometimes even with my PMs and my PAs, they're like, they don't even question what I'm doing because they just know, like, I've just delegated loads to them and I'm awake for a few hours and I come back like, wow, there's been battles over here.
No,
like, initiative. That's why in the Insta chat when, like, you post a screenshot and it says email me, DM me, and then they're messaging me, I'm like, at first I was being really nice and answering them. Sometimes I still do, depends on the mood I'm in, but sometimes now I just ignore them because it's like, you're failing at the first gate. Like, why do I have to spoon feed you? Read the information that's in front of you. If I was starting and I saw a screenshot come up, I'll look at the screenshot, see the name, and go message that person, because that's where the information's come from. Like, if unless the person that sent the message says, message me, directly, then that's different. But like, people have even messaged me when there's an email and a thing like, hey, do you have any more information? It says email the person. Yeah, but do you have any... Okay, I'm not even going to answer you no more.
No words.
Yeah, initiative is key, man. I've had mentors that they don't spoon feed you. It's sink or swim, bro. Like, and I've used initiative, but obviously I don't teach that way. I encourage you to ask questions, and like, no questions are silly questions, but also I need you to have initiative as well and go and do it. Because when you're not with me, if say you're with someone else, you might drown with that person because you're so used to me babysitting you.
And you also, some people might even look at you now as, okay, cool, you're the reference for putting this person, you've given this person this credit, and they've come and they're still asking baby boy, you know what I'm saying, or baby girl questions, etc. But it's just like, that's why I used to be like that. I used to always upskill and, you know, help people to bump up their credit from, you know, a runner, and then they've done a couple of jobs and now they're PM and stuff. And I'm just trying to help everyone to get them into position. But I've also realised that it can definitely hurt them, which is most important, but also hurt me in the sense of people then use me as a reference to say, okay, well, if you've got this credit from, then you've done amount of jobs and you're failing at this task, then obviously this is what's going on over there. And so now I'm like, nah, I got to protect my brand. And unfortunately, guys, like, you know, it's not like I'm trying to belittle you. It's just about have patience and take time, because there are people that have been in this industry, like some of my mentors, for 30 years. Do you know what I mean? 20 years and that. And you guys are trying to upskill and get to position for the sake of credit and money for you know what I mean? And you're and you can fail. And it'll hurt even harder because you're gonna fall. So for me, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, you should be more confident, you should talk your shit, whatever, we can blur that out. But you know, you can talk your ish, whatever, but it's like, I'm like, especially as a black man, being in a mainly white dominated industry, take your time, learn things, define the things, and comb through, because when you do get to that place where you're getting the mad bag for the roles that you have in that, it's like people literally failing to be proactive in something. People are gonna be like, where
you can write yourself off in this thing. Like, I've made mistakes, I'm not even gonna lie. It's less than mistakes. Like, mistakes are good, but it's like, I've been afraid, especially if my first job with someone, it's like, is this gonna write me off? Like, and I'm not gonna. And then when I think about it, sometimes me being in a more senior position, even if it's for smaller shoots, when someone doesn't do something, I'm kind of like, can I book that person again? I'm kind of double thinking in my brain.
I mean, your last job is like represents you every time. Like,
at the same time, it's like I've been on the other end where I haven't known, like, the transition from music videos to commercials. I've been on the other end where I thought I knew majority of everything, but when you come into a new industry, a new place of the industry, it's like you might not know on the commercial when the agency are there that you've got a service, literally where they're staying, you know, how well, what kind of level the restaurant is at, how far it's the hotel and the thing. Does the hotel have a restaurant in it? Can they do all these little details you would have never known? So those are little things that I
become more like a location manager as well.
Yeah, because it's customs. Like, do you know what I mean? So as a PM, I'm thinking, I booked the kit, I've done this, I've done that. To realise, I don't know the best place for them to go after they've eaten their food for a club. It's like, why have I got to do that? But at the same time, it's like that could have tripped me up and prevented me from getting opportunities. But the other person on the other end has been understanding, like, okay, you've come from this place, this is how we do it. So it's like, at the same time,
But that's not a fuck up, though.
No, but they would expect you to know these things. Do you know what I mean?
Because they now have to do the work. You've hindered them, so it is a fuck up. Production's about, like D said, if I bring a PA and PM, it's to make my life easier. So if you're not fluent and speaking the same language and making my life easier, you're fucking up. We're nicer people, so we won't. It won't be a detriment to you. We'll just highlight like where you can learn. And I've on my recent job just recently, I realized I bumped the two people I'm mentoring. One of them, I've bumped them up highly, but I realized they've still got so much to learn. And I'm going to debrief them because, like, they can't do RAs. Or not that they can't, but I haven't given them RAs to do, and they haven't tried to challenge themselves to do RAs. There's still things about the industry like APA and overtime and how to handle those sort of stuff they need to learn. And, like, you know, even on set, I had a PA and PM, and they both were sitting down at one point, and I came in the room and I had to tell them, listen, I need one of you to be mobile with me at all times, because if you're not mobile, everyone's just coming to me and we all have the same information. So it's just these little things as like, when you're in a production team, you have to learn, and like, they probably didn't know they know that you have to be up, but they didn't know that there's two of you. It's fine one sitting down, occasionally sitting down, but you have to be mobile, and like, you know, or RAs and looking for vicinities, like parking spaces. What if this go wrong? Like,
I think it comes down to how people take feedback as well. Do you know what I mean? That prevents people from like being able to upskill and get to the next position. Facts. I think if you're able to take feedback, like Zion, you're great. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've had moments where you showed me even like, right, I need to be a bit more humble. Like, I've been in my head thinking, I hope I didn't say this in the wrong way, but like, you just turn around and you're like, alright, cool, yeah, I'll learn that for next time. And then, do you know what I mean? Next time you're making an effort, and that's what it is. It's like, I feel like it's the same way you are, it's the same way everybody should be, being able to share information. It's okay to get things wrong, but it depends on your attitude when you get things wrong, and if you're going to drag your feet through the problem and make it everyone else's problem in a sense. So, man, 100.
I think I've just been blessed in it. Obviously, Micheal is a small company, but to be honest, a lot of things that you taught me in places where it doesn't matter. Parking is something I did not think about. And there was a shoot where parking didn't really matter, but for you coming from commercials, pushing the service level further than it needs to go. But like, bro, just pattern parking.
But also, it's not even that it doesn't matter. You should always have it in your back pocket. That's the way you should look at things. It's not about what doesn't matter. Like I say, as a producer, you're planning for the things. You already plan for the things that could go right. You need to plan for the things that could go wrong. So having information patterned in your head, even if it's better to have it than need it, basically.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like, even though in that situation, that shoot, parking wasn't the biggest deal there, DJ's still telling me, no, bro, that's something you still need to pattern. And now I just know I don't really care what shoot it is. I don't care what we're doing. I need to think about parking, because I can't expect people to faff around for 30 minutes finding a parking ticket, then being like, oh, I got a ticket, I went overages. These are all things.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
And if you include them on every, like something that Andre, shout out man behind the cam whenever he does appear. Yeah. What Andre kind of reminded me is it doesn't matter whether it's a small client, whether it's just you and your brethren and you're servicing something for him, or whether it's a big client. At the end of the day, you're building a habit.
Yeah.
Practice.
Do you know what I mean?
Perfect.
Yeah. So if you're not including it on the small things, it's highly likely that you're not going to remember to do it on the big ones.
Yeah, it's like I always do a risk assessment, no matter the size of the project. Like always, like, because habits die hard. Like you have to get used to it. Like producing is like football, or any sports, you're constantly practicing at it. There was something you said earlier, and it's key. It's the feedback thing, but it's not just about taking feedback from other people. You need to be able to be a critical thinker and look within yourself and be able to give yourself feedback. Like my last shoot, like there's things that I didn't do, and yes, it's down to that I only had 4 days to produce it, but still, that's no excuse. Like, you know, there's certain things that I'm still learning, and I know I still need to do, and it all comes back down to the patience game. But yeah, feedback is important.
Dre would be like, well, why did you take on a job? Do you know what I mean? That's how you look at me. You'd be like, well, you submitted and you made it seem like it's all possible to do it to the client, and everything was thinking, and you put yourself in the problem. You should have had this plan before, when, you know, in the stages of the bidding stages.
Easier said than done, but...
Do you know what I mean? That's things for me where I would have been like, I had an excuse here, I had an excuse there, and then it's like, nah, you really are responsible. And I'm like,
objectively,
I just have to hang my head on that. Do you know what I mean?
There's a job that we didn't get, and I know, and we're blessed to have Dre in, that I could see how Dre was kind of being like, look, you need to put it in as what it is. And to be honest, if they had given us that job, I don't know how that job went, and we would have probably, the way that we would have wanted to run it, it's good that we just said the boundaries, if it's not this to this amount, we need this amount, or if these aren't the process that we need, we can't do it.
You taught me that, and I had to, I'm going to go get my phone quickly, but you taught me that, and I had to come full circle and remind you that, like sometimes just... Here it is. Yeah, this is where it is. We can't. Like, I'm really doing you a favor by putting. This is going to be hard already. Don't get it twisted. This is going to be hard already. But if you can't meet me there, then But that also comes down to what I'm telling my directors. You're a brand, and you need a certain amount of money to deliver to your quality of work. And if people are not willing to pay that, why should you go below that? Like you're detrimenting yourself.
You're just, when it's not on the budget, it's an invisible thing that you're taking on yourself, and you're expecting them to understand how much work and the grit that you're putting in. But if it's not visible, they're not gonna know. So another tip is, put a discount on the budget. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, these are all the things that should be in place.
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? This is what we're gonna do.
gem.
Do you know what I'm saying?
gem. Still.
Production that's still.
Yeah, it's a
Literally.
gem. Directors. I think you can speak about this equally as Michael will speak about this.
Should we wait or?
No, it's calm. You can work at T-Sex. Directors, bro. What's it like managing directors? Obviously, you leading up Diamond Clear. What's that been like?
I think in terms of directors and just representing anyone, it's hard. It's sales, basically. Like, there's multiple things to focus within that. It's like, you got to be able to promote somebody else. You got to be able to tap in and give that person feedback, and also service them on a job. Like, help them to actually be the best that they can whilst on a job. And I think things like directors, they're a bit of a hard one because they don't have the production background. And obviously my main passion is and always will be in the creative world of directing. But I wanted to learn how the industry worked because I was going insane from my bedroom, whipping up all these treatments, sending it to commissioners and that, not hearing anything back, maybe hearing things back, oh, can you make this last change? And it's like, wait, you've aired me my last 2 emails and that, like, and then you're just coming back suddenly. So I'm thinking, nah, you lot are going to make me go crazy. So I went into production to be able to understand how to manage and help people that want to direct. And I think most of the time when I get myself into when I'm on a job, I always try to think back, like, if I didn't understand the world of production, what would it look like? It obviously comes down to relationships and how well you can articulate what you need to say without having any emotion involved in being a logistical person. But I think it can be a challenge at times because they want to, you tell them, go and write your heart out and make an idea that you love, whatever. They come back and they've done exactly that. Do you know what I mean? They don't take it like lightly. They're like, okay, cool, yeah, I've got the brief, I'm going to go do this. And then you send that to the client and they love it. It's over budget. Do you know what I mean? And then it's like, okay, we want to achieve it. Now, it's hard because you're trying to achieve something that is technically was never meant to be getting green lit. You're meant to just do, but that's what's one of the job. So it's just kind of like, it's managing them through that process, being able to stay focused, not get too overwhelmed of how the scale of it. And I think it's made me a better person, mainly because it's just like, I know how to work with other people that may be from different backgrounds to me, culturally, we've got different ways of dealing with each other, problem solving, all these different things. And it can be a challenge, but it's rewarding in the sense of, obviously now we're working with collaborators, you know what I'm saying? So be sure as a director to send you know what I'm saying? But I would definitely say 100% it could be a challenge. I don't know how you feel as well and how you feel, Zan.
Did you hear the question?
No, I didn't hear it.
All right, so the question was, what is it like, motivating or just working with directors, just making sure they're on point?
Motivating that. Like, before I started to work with directors, I thought directors were the most confident people on this planet. Like, they have everything absolutely sure, but that is quite far from the truth. They are very confident, but they also require feedback and nurturing. And I think, like Dee said, it's if you get a project and you've greenlit it, it's like helping them achieve it and making sure they're not too stressed and giving them the creative solution, and sometimes being realistic with them, like where they might have to compromise and problem solve. But as EP now, what I try to do from the jump is to manage the scale of the project before it's greenlit. Like, this is what I'm saying with the conversation with me and them, having me treating back on their treatment on them, is telling them, yo, this is going to be over budget. You might lose the job because this is going to come over, because I'm going to price this as what it's meant to be. And if you're not willing to like compromise on fee and yada yada, the production company can do a little essential bit, but it's still going to be high. Or maybe if we take this out and reduce this, we can make this possible. I can call a favor here to make this possible. So it's just managing the scale of things. Motivating them it comes in different ways. Each director is different, I think. Like, it's also, as an EP, you're building an actual personal relationships with these people. Like, it's not just professionalism. To be able to work with your director and get the best out of them, you actually have to become friends with them. Like, and that's not like surface level friends. You have to care about them. Generally, I speak to my directors more than I speak to anyone out of my friendship groups. Like I'm on the phone with them for an hour. Sometimes we're busting jokes. Sometimes we're talking about creatives. And your director is also very essential to a producer, because sometimes they might have creative solutions or a crew or favor they can call. Like one of my directors had a friend that could do storyboards. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Like made it so easy to come up to speak to the clients what we wanted. So yeah, like it's always a working relationship. And I've also learned that not every director is suitable for me. I met a director recently, dope, I'm sick. Me and Simon sitting there looking at him like, you're sick, but we didn't want to sign him because we wouldn't benefit him and he wouldn't benefit us. Like I wouldn't be able to bring the best out of him. It's so weird to explain, but I can tell that if I did jobs with him, I would just be producing for the sake of producing, but not actually care. Like our personalities didn't align, and our creative communication wouldn't align. And that don't mean they're a bad person. They're great. They're brilliant. They got signed by another company, and I support them. Like I follow them. I'll big them up. But it's just also learning like who's good for you and who you can get the best out of. So
yeah, 100%. I think I made the mistake of thinking, oh yeah, we just need to be able to sign people and stuff. It's like, to be honest, even now, if I was to ever sign any directors per se, there's a certain type of personality, something that you touched on, like, you know, not to get into the details of what that is, but there's things that I would want in them to be able to bring the best version out of me, so I can bring the best version out of them. And when you're in sync, it's so beautiful, because it doesn't even feel like a job. It's just like you come after and you're like, oh, I wish that, you know what I mean, that felt like a moment in time. Like
it's
we were just
communication,
patterning, and there was problems and this, and we're solving it. And I think that's so key, to know your tribe, know who it is that's gonna to do that for you, 100%.
Yeah, you have to be able to creatively speak the same language and communicate.
But saying that now, I think obviously with the industry kind of going through what it's going through, I think a lot of people are going to thrive that are going to be able to be collaborators, as opposed to sign directors, just because of the sake of, you never know when your next job is coming. Obviously we're going through something at the moment, and yeah, it's just like, it's easier to tap in to say, this is the brief that we have, we need this kind of director, and you look and you interview and you find that person, you pitch them and whatever, versus you don't have the person on the roster, and it's like now you're doing loads of off-roster work when you've got roster people on the roster and that.
Yeah, so the business, the model's changing right now, and this is why I think the industry is how it is right now, because there's just like, with all these platforms, it's just what is content and the format and where they want to put it, and like, you know, directors, it's going to be challenging. It's going to be challenging for everyone, producers, directors, all of that. But yeah.
What's going to be challenging? Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Just being a creative, like how you approach briefs, what kind of briefs, music format, if it's the same TVC's format. Like you've got like, you think about platforms, like before, I was speaking to a commissioner, before music videos, you turn on the TV, MTV, Channel U, that's where you're seeing all your videos. Now, when's the last time you watched a music video on TV that you didn't load up YouTube on? Like actual TV channel.
2000 and...
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
Exactly.
Back when there was nothing to do, I was in the crib, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So the problem is now is like, you can put all of this money on certain things, but is it actually, you're not sure where it's going to get watched. You've got TikTok now, you've got Instagram Reels, you've got YouTube, you've got Stories, you've got Snapchat. We all forget about Snapchat. You've got Twitter. Like, Twitter's the on-song era. Things can, if it blows up on Twitter, it's going to stay there. Reddit, believe it or not,
Reddit has come up. People keep quoting Reddit, and I'm like, oh man, another platform for me to... And I've got an account, but I'm like, I don't go on it like that.
LinkedIn, that's the thing. Well, not so much for the youth media and stuff, but it's its own platform. There's different content. So this is what I mean, where I say everything is changing, because it's not, I'm not just talking about promos, I'm not just talking about adverts, like even the way you advertise a film. I saw a Lambo commercial on TikTok. What? And then, and then I was speaking to my director, and he's like, have you seen this commercial? And he showed me, and he saw it on either YouTube or the TV, and I was like, I saw this on TikTok, bro. Do you get it? So the way content is being consumed is in lots of different ways. So it's like, as creatives, how we approaching that format now and those conversations, because music videos, people don't want a 3-minute long video. So now they're talking about content where they can quickly cut up and say it's not official music video, it's just like a visual. So things are changing, man. So, and as things change now, it's like, how do I communicate to my directors how to get the best out of them to approach those briefs? Me as a producer, my job might change. Self-shooters might just become the thing because they can produce, shoot, and do.
That's what I was gonna say, because I feel like younger directors, they might not have the experience, but right now they're kind of best placed to. I know, because like advertising companies are struggling a lot with making translatable content for TikTok. For 16:9, a lot of directors are just struggling to do it. They can't get their head around
9:16.
Yeah, 9:16.
Yeah.
They can't get their head around it. Or like I saw an EE commercial the other day, and the guy's hitting the ground doing one of the TikTok trends. And I was like, to a young consumer, I was like, that's off the post. They got to do that, it ain't right. They tried to copy and paste it and it didn't work. It just makes me think, these younger directors, are they all gonna?
I don't know, but I saw Eric. I don't know if you saw. I saw Eric Myers put up a video for Wes Nelson that he all shot on the phone in one take, and I think it was so sick and creative. And I'm looking at, you got Rebecca Be Creative. That's also
shout out Rebecca.
That's also in the TikTok game. Don't sleep. There's directors that are seeing the game change, and don't get me wrong. I don't think things are going to completely change 180s like when YouTube came around. These things will still be around,
but there's a new avenue, and it will become just as important to make, and it already has become just as important to get your original iPhone content just as much as the big film camera. And obviously, those things will still exist and stuff, but like what connects with people is that authenticity and, like you said, being on the pulse. And sometimes it's like, hey, like the brand is like throwing loads of money at a big camera crew, but when you're watching it, you just feel like this is advert. Whereas if you didn't know it for advert, and then sometimes people bring it in and they're like, oh yeah, and I just have to, and then you look and you're like, oh my days, it's connected because it said the right point, it had a call to action and all these things. But 100%. I feel like go on. No, I was gonna say, I feel like in terms of like music videos and all that stuff, 100% is changing, and I feel like same with advertising, everything's changing. People are like figuring out where the eyes are going and stuff like that. So it's just a race now to see.
I think I like that a lot for music videos, because I think music videos have always had that kind of like idea of having like certain shots that are bigger than others, but it's like all music videos that I'm seeing now that are blown up, they always got hero shots. I think that's good because it's a translatable skill from advertising, and I like that those two things are in a way becoming more similar. Like every single music video, there's this guy called ZT Switch, like that hero shot of that was him on the chair, kind of like they did the VFX to make it look like he was floating. There was one shot.
Oh yeah, with the robot arm.
And that's the shot I remember now. That's the hero shot. Same way as an advert, there'll be that one shot I remember, and everything around it will kind of just fade away.
But this is why I'm encouraging my directors in their biggest treatment to write a part about content and deliverables. Like that's the thing. I think it's not so much about content and format. It's just deliverables. Like how your bigger idea, is there another smaller idea in there you can add for deliverables? It's like marketing. It might not be down to the director to create that. It might be down to us EPs and creative producers to now start thinking.
Is that something that you're trying to implement?
My brain works like that. So I'm always thinking like, when before producing, I tried to create my own social media company kind of thing to do YouTube. And when I was doing that, you have to be thinking about marketing and cut downs and how that I've watched things like Wall of Comedy, I'm Just Bait,
Lad Bible,
how they drop content and how clickbait. It's nothing in life is unintentional. Everything is done with purpose. Like everyone out here in this game is playing chess, bro. So I think when you think about marketing, it's not just about how much numbers you're going to sell. Marketing is just, how do I get your attention?
Yeah.
I remember one time I said to my business partner, we had stickers and we had business cards, and I said, oh, maybe we should do a thing where it's a basic tactic. Like maybe we should say to our followers, the first people to like, comment, subscribe, and comment on YouTube, we'll send them a sticker. And he was like, what if only 3 people comment? That would be embarrassing. I said to him, can only focus on those 3 people.
That's a life lesson right there. That it doesn't matter how long you've been in this game, focus on your 3 people. Honestly.
Yeah, focus on who's supporting you. But the reason I say it as well is if you did a tactic and it affected 3 people, then you look at that and went, okay, I've got 3 people. How do I get another 3?
How do I find those same other 3 people to double up?
Yeah, to double up.
And
that's what when I'm saying about the marketing, it's like you're your deliverables now, it's not just saying, oh yeah, I'm going to do a 9x16 cut down. It's like, what's the effect of that? Like, it's now thinking, within my thing, do I get the character to quickly stop, look at the camera, say something? And that's my now marketing tool. And I can cut that down into different aspects.
And then just to like wrap up, yeah, I kind of had a question, a general like overall question was like, for you, what is it to be a creative facilitator?
Can you elaborate, please?
Someone that, the way I see producing anyway is I'm making the job in a way in my image. I'm bringing the momentum to the job. How do you kind of get things going and get all the departments to start collaborating and everything to kind of coming together?
I ask myself, why do I do this, and do I enjoy it? And I'm telling myself I enjoy it, but there's a euphoria you get when you see the final product. You're like, rah, I did this. And there's also a moment on the day of set when everything, especially if you're doing set builds, when everything's coming together and you're like, whoa, it's all working. But what starts it is the first initial contact with the director, and once you've locked the treatment, it's going, cool, who do you want? They might say someone and you're like, cool, we could go with that person, but here's a list of people. And then also sometimes with some directors, they allow you and them can go through said list and not saying this person's not good, it's just who's best for the job, like picking the right tools that will achieve for this look. There's some directors that's really good at that. I won't name anyone to out any of the people that they do, but if we have something glossy, they might pick a certain DP, and the other DP they'll go for
maybe want a more edgy look, and that's who's going to connect with the audience at home. So the glossy look wouldn't make sense. So you go with the,
and then, would you have a say in that sometimes?
Yeah, more or less, but ultimately it's down to the director, because at the end of the day, I don't want it to come around and the director look at me like, well, you told me to choose this person. And it's that's the creative decision. I can have creative inputs, but creative decisions are done by the director. Logistical calls and financial decisions are made by me. So, I allow people to do their job. I think to answer your question, I just facilitate everyone's roles to allow them to do the best they can do. My job is to bring the best out of everyone and do the best out of the director. The reason why I say the director and the producer are right and left-handed team combo is because I give all the directors even the last job I did, I wasn't so sure about how the job was going to come out, but I said, you know what, I'm going to give my director all the tools they needed. Gave them the tools on set. I'm like, oh, look at
You might have to put this on the road.
But and that's rare for me. Normally I know what we're going into, but this time it was like I weren't so sure. But and even sometimes I have an influence mostly sometimes when it comes to art. Picking a good art director is very key for a director, and sometimes and the director sometimes have the conversation. It just depends. Even steady cam, it's like a consistent conversation of I know you use this person, but this person can do the same job, and they might do me a favor for this because I don't have the budget. Gaffers, but that's more DOP's choice. And then even, it's so funny, but I have a runner, and every time I can get him, I bring him on, because once he's on my set, good vibes. His energy is just so abundant. It affects the whole set. It's so crazy. I don't think he knows, but when he's on set, it's all his good vibes. He's just so cheery. He's so hardworking. He doesn't complain. He just puts out.
Swing his number.
I will. I want to get him on set more.
And forward that to me too.
I'll send you both. But
put it in the database.
He's
favourites, bro.
No, he's sick. I was with him. I had him on my last shoot. But I think just facilitating. I just try to bring out the best out of everyone and just make sure everyone has the tools they need, and I'm constantly communication. I think as a producer, that's your greatest skill. I'm always communicating to my team. Someone told me one time, I remember I was nervous about the art, they had everything but I wasn't sure, and they're like, if you're not sure, call them. Be on to them. And I called them are you sure? And they're like, yeah. And as I was talking, I think they could feel that I'm not trying to invoke nervousness in you. It's just reassurance. Are you sure? What do you need? I'm not thinking that you can't do a job. I'm just double checking that you're not underestimating the value of what we need and the quantity of things that we need. Even on my last job, I budget up something for the art director. They told me they're hitting the max. I'm working at the numbers and I'm like, keep going. Just keep updating me what your numbers is. Come back. Yo, where you... And, if I didn't keep coming to them, they wouldn't have told me their numbers. I have to keep checking in like, yo, what number you at now? They've gone past the budget. They're like, I'm trying to reduce. Don't worry. I'm still working on things. Yo, where we at? This is where we at. This is the max I'm like, do you need more? A little bit. All right, I'm coming back. Here you go. And it's like, you can't, as a producer, facilitating, you have to facilitate. You can't rely on everyone. You have to learn everyone's creative communication. I used that word earlier. As creatives, we all have a creative language we speak, and the more you work with people, the better that creative language becomes. So when you're working with people, you have to constantly communicate. As a producer, never assume. Never expect this to be done. All is ask, all is do. Yeah. If you don't know, just ask. I don't care. So I don't assume that art's doing that. Yo, are you good? Yeah, you got that sorted? Cool. PMs. Yo, have you done this? Have you done that? Let's go for a checklist. I create a checklist with my production team, so no one's guessing anything. My director, same thing. I don't assume. Have you thought about this? Are you doing this? So it's just facilitating conversations. That's the main thing.
And I would like to know your thoughts on this, because the way I see producing, and please let me know what you think, it's like I'm the one that has, and that's why I said kind of making the job in my image. I'm one of the few people that have full oversight of this job. As in, art might not know what's going on with camera, not necessarily. If I'm not making that conversation happen, or that's just not organically happening, there's no connection there. They have no clue. I'm the one that with all the information, so what I'm kind of doing is filling in the blanks and pushing everything in a direction so we're all staying together, because especially when there's a lot of department, for me, starting to produce things with art department was a big switch up for me, because I'm kind of just doing externals using what's available. It's like there's a lot of different tethers going on here, and if you don't wrap them in together, it's not going to work.
You'll come out on the day and you're like, oh, I thought you had this, and no.
So this comes back to coming from producing narratives. In narratives, everyone has to be communicating with each other to make the job come. Art and camera, I don't care. They have to communicate. When even my director the other day, I was on the Unknown T job for a while, and then when I jumped on the George one, I started to make group chats, and he messaged me. He's like, "Yeah, I know mine's on now because the group chats are coming out." And that's the thing. I'll make a group chat with the director for art, the group chat for the director with camera, the group chat for the production
and
team.
I know people hate, some people don't like the group chat thing, but I'm like, if there's no group chat, then I have to physically move this piece of information. I can't there's going to be a mistake somewhere.
Work smart. So, and then I make a HOD chat, and that HOD chat is mainly for the first AD, because he can communicate to all the heads of departments. Yeah. And the first AD don't need to be in the art chat with the director, because that art chat for the director is just for the director and the art. That camera chat is for me, production, the director, and the DOP. Later on, when kit list comes in, I bring the first AC and second AC in. And then so it's just
What's crazy is that on the commercials, people look down on you, because they're like, I remember when I done one job, the production designer, let me put respect on their name, was just like, I do things by email. And I was just like, oh, okay, she's like, so I had to keep just specifically to her doing the email, CCing her, etc. But for everyone else, group chats. Do you know what I mean? But it made such a big difference because that's their workflow. Do you know what I mean? So music videos, it's like you can get away with certain people with that. But on commercials, when I've had my experience, I feel like you do get those people that don't mind. They're like, just for a minute.
I always ask though, even before, I always ask, like, do you mind being put in a WhatsApp group for easy comms? Like, we'll confirm things over email. But for a quick, like, you want to drop a photo to the director, etc. There's WhatsApp. But yeah, man, it's what you said. I cannot be bothered to, as a producer, that's what you're doing, taking information and going bang. If you're in this chat, there's the information. Sometimes all I need to do is at the director, like, yo, have you seen this?
Word.
That's it. So but I think if teams are not communicating, your final product will be affected. And I used to try to do it a lot, and only if crew really cares, but I try to have a crew PPM meeting to just talk about the idea and make sure everyone has questions. Art goes AD's like, yeah, you got 25 minutes. Art's like, nah, I need 45. Like, just these conversations.
This is a collaborative sport.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
people sometimes don't realise how collaborative it is. If we're not all on the same page, something's gonna go wrong.
Facts. Nah, it is a team game. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Trust me.
So,
but yeah, I think on that note, unless anyone else has anything else they want to add or any gems they want to drop.
I think this is just a dope chance to sit down, and I just want a big shout out to you for coming down again. You know what I'm saying? Look forward to seeing you on more 100%. You know what I mean? I also want to shout out Nathan behind the camera. You know what I mean?
Big Nathan.
Be sure to go in the link in the bio and that, and you know what I mean. Make sure you pop over and follow some of the crew. But 100%. Just dope opportunity.
Dope. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me, bro.
Amazing. Peace, guys. See you in the next episode in a bit. Peace.